Jay, last season, Amari Cooper had a career-high 1,250 receiving yards, and he finished as wide receiver 17 in points per game. Last season, in Week 16 against Houston, with Joe Flacco as his quarterback, Amari Cooper had 11 catches, 265 yards, and 2 touchdowns. He finished with 51.5 fantasy points. That one game accounted for over 21% of Amari Cooper's yards and over 22% of his fantasy points in 2023. Without that game, on a per-game basis, Amari Cooper averaged 12.5 fantasy points, which would have been wide receiver 32 last season. Jay, your thoughts?
Very worried about the Browns' offense in general, because I think there is this idea that Deshaun Watson is a very high variance quarterback, and maybe 2020 Texans Deshaun is just going to show up. I think that is so far removed, and he's dealt with so many health issues where he has 2 torn ACLs. He had the shoulder last year. He's already missing practice because of general kind of arm soreness and fatigue. Like, I think we need to start viewing this guy a bit more, not quite to the same extent, but a bit more like Carson Wentz, who was also a guy who had a season as an elite quarterback. Carson Wentz was going to win an MVP award in 2017 if he didn't get hurt. And I think that Deshaun is probably a little bit better than that, and he did have flashes like the second half in the Ravens game where he led them all the way back from 31-17 and was 14 for 14 in the second half. But at the same time, like, it wasn't good last year for Deshaun. It wasn't good the year before that. And also, like, the last time he was good was 2020. It was a different league back then. There was way more too high safety, taking away the deep ball, which is what Deshaun excelled at when he was in Houston, tossing it up to DeAndre Hopkins, your man Will Fuller.
Much less.
Yes.
Much less too high safety. You said much more.
Well, just now, like, teams are taking away.
Correct.
Teams are taking away the deep ball. And so I just think that it's a new era. He is not as healthy, and we just haven't seen it. And Cooper just thrives so much more with Joe Flacco. So a bit worried about this Cleveland offense and Cooper in particular.
Yeah, and I was just looking this up. So Amari Cooper is going as wide receiver 24 on Yahoo at the moment. Again, without that one huge game, he would have been wide receiver 32 last season. What say you about Amari Cooper, Denny Carter?
I'm very concerned about all the pass catchers here. I mean, we are going to see Jameis Winston, I think, sooner rather than later. If not for injury reasons, then just for general struggles. You go back to like April and May, guys, and you'll see Roto-World blurbs on the Browns coaches and training staff being very careful with how they manage Deshaun Watson's arm, right? His throwing arm. And we're still in late August now talking about general arm soreness. Like, maybe he's just lost his fastball. Maybe he's not going to come back from this the way the Browns hoped he would. And I think that impacts everybody in this offense. Honestly, I was way more bullish on Amari Cooper last year when Joe Flacco came in than when Watson was in, because I believe Flacco, for fantasy purposes, was better for all these guys, for Njoku, for Cooper, for everyone. I tend to fade the Browns because of Watson right now.
I mean, that's the biggest key. It's like you're already hearing, Denny already mentioned it, like there's already arm soreness for Deshaun Watson. Like, it just, it's been a tough run in Cleveland for Deshaun Watson.
Also, by the way, they have like 4 capable backup quarterbacks, which just shows you that they don't feel like, why do they have Jameis Winston and Tyler Huntley and DTR? Like, I think if they were absolutely confident in Deshaun's health, they wouldn't be signing all these guys or keeping them.
I would agree with all that.
Okay, you have a chance to win $1 million in the NBC sweepstakes on Yahoo Fantasy. Just download the redesigned Yahoo Fantasy app or go to NBCSports.com/fantasymillion for additional details. What are you waiting for?
Hey, it's Matthew Berry from NBCSports.com and Rotoworld.com, and I want to thank you so much for watching whatever it is you just watched, or if nothing else, being too lazy to click out of the autoplay after this video started, after whatever it is you actually wanted to watch finished. But now that you're here, I'd like to take a moment here to ask you respectfully now, okay? I'm asking you respectfully to subscribe to the NFL on NBC YouTube channel. You'll get the latest Roto-World fantasy news headlines, all sorts of great shows, including my own Fantasy Football Happy Hour. So go subscribe now. Again, I'm asking respectfully.